So at the grocery store, you're noticing basically every other week what you used to think something cost is now more expensive. So these are just 5 tips that I'm going to give you that are going to help you with your spending when it comes to food, because that's something we all need, and this is something that I feel like is going to benefit you, and if it benefits you in your life, then it's making it good for everybody. The first tip that I'm going to give you, which seems like an obvious one, but you may not think of it at the time, is buying more than you need when things are on sale. For example, almond milk is something that I drink, use for my breakfast every day, and it is expensive, but when I see it on sale, it lasts for a couple months, so I'll buy like 2 or 3 of those at one time. Now, it may seem at the time that you're spending more money on extra goods that you may not need at the time, and you're thinking, I only have so much money, I shouldn't be buying excess of this or that or whatever, but really it's going to save you more in the long run. So once again, only buying things that you normally use, like canned foods are a great example, dry pasta, stuff like that. Toothpaste is a great example. Now, like I said before, do not buy things that you don't normally get just because they're on sale. Like, I got excited recently and bought these like odd little packages of seaweed rolls, dried spicy seaweed rolls for snacks. I thought, oh, it might be a good snack. It's cheap, why not? It's on sale. They've been sitting in my cupboard for like months now. So don't buy things you don't need. Buy things that you use on a regular basis and get them when they're on sale. So tip number 2 is one that I actually never knew before until somebody actually pointed this out to me. And it simply comes down to knowing how to read the price labels. So when you go to the grocery store and you see an item, it'll show you the price, but below that in really fine print. Now, I don't know if they have that in the United States, but they do have this here in Canada. But look for it in the States if you can see what I'm talking about here. They have smaller print of numbers below the price, and that shows you the price by weight. So let's say you're in the store, you see 2 jars of peanut butter, one is 800 grams and one is 1 kilogram. Is it better to get the larger one? Is it better to get the smaller one? Well, this actually breaks it down for you. So, and I'll show you on the screen here what I'm talking about. Whatever number is the lower number, you're actually paying cheaper for per 100 grams or whatever the weight is. So look for the lower number, and that's actually the better cost for the item. Okay, so the third tip is basically don't be lazy. No, but really that's what it comes down to. Basically, do not buy the stuff that is pre-chopped, pre-cooked, pre-mixed, whatever it is. Like, I see this all the time. Especially at Christmas time, they have like vegetable trays out and all that kind of stuff. And you're paying so much more money for the work that the person has done by chopping up all the vegetables ahead of time. The chicken that's pre-cooked obviously is going to be more than buying raw chicken that you have to cook yourself. I understand everybody's lives are very busy, but if you want to make sure that the work that you're putting in each and every day is paying off for you, you want to be able to save the money that you're making. You don't want to blow it basically after you've been working all day long so hard for it. So you just take that little bit of extra time in the evening. Even a great idea is just like when you have free time on the weekend or something, maybe you could do like a prep for the week where you're chopping up vegetables ahead of time. It's going to save you so much money. Not to buy the pre-cut, pre-cooked, pre-everything, pre-packaged stuff like the salads that are already thrown together. Like, really, when it comes down to it, how hard is it to cook a chicken breast? Does it really take that long to chop some vegetables? It's going to save you money in the long run, and the grocery stores love that. They love when people buy those trays of pre-cut stuff, and generally they're not as fresh. Like, you take those to a party or whatever, and you got somebody eating like celery stalk that's like completely white. It's like not the best impression of you, is it? So just bypass all that stuff. Okay, so tip number 4 seems pretty obvious, but we do need that little bit of extra help to remind us when you're at the grocery store. So whenever you're buying bread, milk, stuff like that, always look to the expiry dates, which are listed on the bread tabs, on the top of the milk. You'll see them all. And look to the back of the shelf, and that's where you're going to find the freshest food. There's nothing worse than when you get back with a loaf of bread and you realize it expires 3 days later. Unless you have a big family, most of us are not eating an entire loaf of bread in 3 days, or maybe you are, you're living the good life. But the best way to ensure the freshest quality of food is to look for the longest expiry. And truth be told, usually food will last a couple days after the expiry date, so don't be like totally freaked out by expiry dates. You can usually smell or see when something has gone off. They put that there as precaution. So don't be totally freaked out and throw out your food when you see, oh my gosh, it expires tomorrow. You can still check it and make sure. Generally, it'll be fresh a few days later. So those are just tips to help you to make sure your food is lasting you as long as possible and you're throwing out less. I'm just gonna get to tip number 1 right now, but before I do that, I'm just gonna show you an extra little bonus tip that we're giving you. I'm gonna put on the screen right now the best times to go to the grocery store to find the sales. Now, these are times that I've actually been informed personally by employees of the grocery store. These are leaked times where they generally put out their sale items. So I'm going to give you that information right now, and you can check at your local grocery store and see if this rings true. But from what I've experienced, it has. So the best thing to know is, when are the sales? And so I'm going to give that to you right now. Okay, and the last tip, the final tip, tip number 1. This should be an obvious one, honestly, but we're all guilty of it. Do not go into the grocery store hungry. You've heard it time and time again. Make sure you have a set shopping list. Like, basically what I like to do is I set out meals for the week and I have a shopping list of each meal. Now, you may not be as organized as this. You don't have to do it for the week, but maybe the night before you could think of, what am I going to make for dinner tomorrow? It makes your life so much easier. First of all, you're not eating crap. You're not buying fast food. You're planning a meal ahead of time and you're writing out your list. So when you go into the grocery store, you're prepared with only buying what you're set there to buy. So unless the only situation where this may be different is when I told you before, if there's a sale item of something that you normally always get anyways, by all means stock up on that. But by going in with a list, you're gonna stop yourself from buying things willy-nilly and just grabbing things off the shelf because you're hungry and you're frantic and you're wondering, what am I gonna have for dinner? Oh, I guess I'll just combine this with that and this with that. It's a perfect way to waste your money and waste your food. So you've heard it before, just do not go into the grocery store hungry. Make sure you have a little snack in your pocket, maybe on the way from work to the grocery store if that's what you're doing. Okay, I've got that, little bit of like almonds in the car. That will satisfy me until I get my grocery shopping done. I know it sounds ridiculous, but we're all guilty of it, and it's a perfect way to waste your money and just go in a frenzy. So these are all tips that I use. It's helped me a great deal to save my money. I found I've been able to budget a lot better just following these simple rules. Let me know if you follow these tips or if you have other tips. List them in the comments. I would love to hear. We're all here to help each other in this economy today. Please make sure you subscribe, like us, hit the notifications bell. We love to see that more people are following us. We're just a brand new channel starting out, but we are trying to give more informative and entertaining content every week. Thanks for joining us.